I'm trying to set up for this live. I don't see it on my channel yet. Okay, yeah, here it is. Can you hear me? Okay, I can hear me, so I'm assuming you can hear me. So I'm gonna mute my sound. This is my laptop over here. I'm gonna mute my sound. If you can't hear me, please let me know. But what I did was I tried to mic myself because she's watching TV. Let's move your chair back a little bit. She's watching TV and I don't want any copyright problems. So I tried to mute myself. I tried to mute her by having this mic on. I don't know if that's gonna work. Let me know if you could really hear the episode. But she's watching Alex and Annie, or what is it? Austin and Disney Channel, Austin and Allie. But yeah, I want to give people a chance to come on. How you guys doing? You eating a snack? You eating crumbs? She has a plate full of crumbs. You gotta hold it up for them to see that. That's a lot of chips.
That's because the bag was almost finished, so I couldn't just leave a little.
That's breakfast?
Well, no, snack time.
Yeah, but you never had breakfast. So that's breakfast? So some things that I have when I'm doing hair, I make sure I have a bottle of water for myself, but it looks like I started drinking this one. I should have had a full bottle, but I guess this will tide me over. I'm dressed comfortably. I have a caddy that has all of our supplies in it. This is the caddy that we all use. So if you guys have been rocking with me for a while, then you know that I have 4 daughters. And my oldest daughter just celebrated her birthday, a couple of weeks ago. She's 22. 22. So I have been rocking with this hair stuff and doing hair where I've been responsible for not just my own natural hair, but my daughter's hair for a long time. 22 years she celebrated. Now she's been doing her hair on her own now, I'd say maybe since she was between, usually they start working independently between the ages of 11 and 14 or so. I think with my oldest daughter, it took a little longer for me to let her go just because she was my first and because it didn't occur to me that I should be, don't turn it up because I don't want it to pick up. Can you hear it though? I'm going to try to not to talk too loud. She's trying to turn up her show. Can you turn it down a little bit? Because I really don't want it. Okay, yeah. But as I was saying, it took me a little while to be able to let her go because I was vested in doing her hair, and also to be able to trust that she'd be able to do it well without ripping all the strands out of her hair. And lastly, she liked me doing her hair, so she didn't really want me to stop doing her hair. I'm talking about my oldest daughter. Whoever joined me, welcome to the live. Don't forget, guys, the chat's open in case anybody wants to talk with me. That's the whole purpose of this live, so we can actually talk back and forth. So don't forget to say hey, tell me where you're watching from, that kind of thing. Hey, Anne's Vlogs, welcome. Thank you for joining me this morning. I'm doing my youngest daughter's hair today, but I was giving a little bit of background information for anyone who might not have been rocking with me all along. I don't know how long you've been watching my channel, but my oldest daughter is 22. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I was talking about the transition to having them do their own hair, because at this point I'm only down to this last daughter. She's the only one out of all my 4 daughters whose hair I still do. And I thought today, as I do her hair, we can chat about what that transition has been like, because I think there's been one channel on YouTube, Discovering Natural, that I've watched where she talked about what it's like to transition your daughters to doing their own hair, because she has teenage daughters as well. but I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it, and it's not always a smooth transition, and it's been a little rocky. So I wanted to kind of chat back and forth and share. So this for me is the first step of getting them to work on their hair independently. This daughter right here, Rayma, is 11. Say hey.
Hi.
Hi, Harper Polo. Welcome. This daughter right here is 11. And, I'm still responsible for her hair, but she's at the age where I'm starting to transition her to do her own hair. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm not going to just be like, okay, you're 11, go do your hair. I mean, I could do that, but I know that that's going to be overwhelming for her because she has a lot of hair. Her hair is thick and her hair is long. And detangling is the issue. Hey, Ann Roberts. Detangling is the issue. And so the detangling is the horse that breaks the thing that breaks the camel's back. Okay, let's be honest. And so I want to make it as easy for her as possible. So what I'll do is, if you watch my channel, hey, yes, she is funny. Did you guys enjoy her video that she shared, that we shared on my channel? It got a lot of thumbs ups. So I'm thinking, you guys enjoyed her video. She is my little comedian. So I'm talking about transitioning your daughter to do their own hair since this is my last one right here. Oh, and Anne's vlog said she watched the video. You did a good job on that video. Oh, that's your friend?
Yeah, don't say her name.
Oh, okay. Okay. And Roberts watched it. She said yes. So I'm going to encourage her to keep doing videos, to keep putting up clips. We're thinking about where it'll all go, but for now she'll be on my channel. Okay? So the first step, look, she's clapping for you. Say thank you. So the first step for them working independently, you have to trust that, there are going to be some hiccups. With my 4 daughters, if you guys have been watching my channel all along, they all have a lot of hair. You know that I adopt a small box braid or twist routine for them. I wash their hair in the braids. I condition their hair in the braids. I rarely, if ever, like manage their whole loose head of hair at one time. And so this is the model and approach that I try to offer them. The reality that I've discovered is that they don't always necessarily want that model. They don't always necessarily want their hair to be in twists and braids all the time, but they want the length. Okay. So with my oldest 2 daughters, they have maintained the same routine that I've always done with their hair, where they wash their hair in twists, they wear twists, they wash their hair in twists, and they just redo each twist, detangle their hair twist by twist, maybe once a month or so. Okay. But my third daughter, my 15-year-old Anika, she has very fine hair, a looser curl pattern, and her hair has always kind of struggled a little bit with the small braids. I noticed that, if I leave them on in for the same amount of time that I leave her sister's braids in, she's always experienced a little bit of breakage. And so that's even with me taking the careful measures that I've always taken when I'm doing her hair. So when she moved to do her own hair, and she moved to do her own hair around age 11, the age that she's at now, I kind of threw her into the deep end because she had a lot of skills. She was always putting her dolls. She has American Girl doll. She's always putting her hair into little tiny braids and doing a fantastic job of it. So I thought, she could handle doing her own hair. Like I already gave her a full, set of braids. All she had to do was maintain the parts and maintain the braids. But she was a lot rougher with picking out her braids and detangling than I was. So the reality of the transition that we experienced was that she experienced a lot of breakage. she experienced a lot of breakage. My older two daughters have experienced breakage, but not as much as her. Oh, Anne's Vlogs is saying, hey, woohoo, good job, Rayma. So, yeah, so thank you. Thanks for the support. So, as I was saying, my oldest two daughters have also experienced breakage in the sense that their hair is not as long as it was when I was taking care of their hair. Because when I sit down with their hair, I work very carefully. I take my time, but the girls, they're younger. They just want to get through it. They don't enjoy the detangling. They don't have time for the detangling. They don't like that, and so at times they might not be as careful. So when you're transitioning your daughters, just realize that you might have to deal with some breakage. Okay. And so my third daughter that I'm talking about, my 15-year-old, she experienced so much breakage that I realized that maybe the small braids is not like a practical way for her to manage her hair. Not only did she experience the breakage, she inherited my restlessness with my hair. When I was a loose natural, I would never wear my hair in the same style for long. I was always changing up styles. 1 minute it was in twist, the next minute it was loose, the next minute it was a pub, the next minute, and I was constantly being bored with my hair, being unsatisfied with my hair. If you go back and watch my videos, whenever I was bored, I would want to do something different to my hair. That's how I ended up going from relaxed back to natural, back to relaxed, back to natural, short hair, long hair, locks, no locks. you know, I've kind of grown into the settled place that I'm at with my hair, and my hair is locked. I'm going to answer your question, and Roberts, were twists better? But let me just finish saying this, that, it took me time to settle into being satisfied with my hair. So I recognize that my 15-year-old has to go through her own process. And so I realized that it was unreasonable to encourage her to keep her hair in braids since she gets bored of it. She doesn't want her hair straight, interestingly. Interestingly, the one thing that my daughters have seemed to gain from this lifestyle that I promoted all their lives on this YouTube channel, how we live our lives in real life, none of my daughters are really into straight hair per se. Like, I remember as a child wanting my mom to straighten my hair and wanting to wear my hair straight. My girls are not that much into wanting to wear their hair straight, but they like to wear their hair loose at times. But when they wear their hair loose, they want to be in control of how the loose hair looks. So they don't like shrinkage. They don't want their hair to be too big. They don't like big hair. All the things that their hair does naturally, they fight with it when it's loose. But my 15-year-old likes to work with her loose hair. But the problem is the detangling. Nobody in my house enjoys the detangling. Does anybody in real life, really enjoy the detangling? I don't know. But my girls have really thick hair. And even the one that has the fine hair, she has enough strands that the detangling is not fun. So she doesn't enjoy the detangling. She doesn't enjoy washing her hair. She does like styling. Okay, Harper Polo said, nope, nobody don't like no detangling. I agree. So to answer your question, and Roberts, the twists were better for my 15-year-old's hair and for their hair in general, in the sense that, this daughter, Rayma, her hair is in braids, but the other two, the oldest two, always wear their hair in twists. We tried twists with my third daughter, and you would think, looking at her texture, that she would be one of those people who would struggle if she wanted to lock her hair, because her curl pattern is a little bit looser. She has the kind of hair that if you wet it and you put gel, when it dries, her hair is like super shiny. That kind of texture. I have other daughters whose hair is not quite as shiny. Like my second daughter, if you wet her hair, it will stretch out. If you put gel, the gel will hold. She'll have a healthy sheen, but her hair won't be shiny. You know, my oldest daughter also has shiny hair, but her hair, the strands are a lot thicker. So I think that's why when her hair are in twists, her hair can handle the twist without breaking. But my 15-year-old, it's like scissors. When she goes in to take the twist out, oddly, her texture mats up really well. So if she ever wanted to have locks, her hair would lock very easily. It would be a fuzzy locking process for her just because she has a fuzzy texture of hair. Um, it would be very fuzzy, but her hair would lock quickly. It would mat quickly, and her locks would probably be, you know, even shinier than mine. Like my hair, my texture is somewhere in between her texture and my oldest daughter's texture. My strands are thicker, like my oldest daughter, and her strands, and I have more strands than her. I have more density than she has. So that's another thing she experienced with the braids. She felt like her braids were like stringy looking. They were never as full, you know, as her sister's braids. I think if her braids would have looked full to her, she would have enjoyed braids more, you know. And so, you know, when she had when I was transitioning her to do her own hair, she was working with individual small box braids instead of twists because the hair would get too matted, you know, when she twists her hair. But so with the independent, working with with them, working, transitioning them to be independent with their hair, the first thing I do is I partner with them. Okay. So at this stage, Rayma is 11. At this stage, she washes her own hair. Okay. We use a method where I go to not the dollar store, more like probably Walmart, the beauty supply store, any store where they sell plastic spray bottles. And I'll fill one spray bottle with shampoo that's diluted in water, and one spray bottle with conditioner that's diluted with water, and one spray bottle with apple cider vinegar that's diluted with water. And I'll send them into the shower with their spray bottles, and they are actually able to wash their own hair. Okay, so at this age, they're washing their own hair. So she already washed her hair a couple of days ago. I wasn't feeling well. I was supposed to do her hair yesterday, but I couldn't. So I'm doing her hair today. Like I had a toothache. I could talk to you guys about that in another video. I'm all better. That's another thing. I do not sit and do hair when I don't feel good. Okay. And so I could have pushed through and did her hair, but I would have been frustrated. I might have been ripping through her hair. If you watch my videos, you know, unless I'm in the right mood, I don't do hair. Okay. So my first step is to partner with them. So that's why I put her hair in two sections. This top section is the section that will be seen by the world, okay? And typically when I'm working with them before they're fully independent, I might have them work on these easier braids right here above her ears. So in the whole hair thing, maybe she'll do herself 2 braids, or if she really gets into it, 4 braids, because at this stage, it takes them a minute because her braids have been in for about a month. So at this stage, it takes them a while to just unbraid the hair. And I don't want her to be discouraged. My goal right now is for her to get the steps, for her to understand the steps, how to carefully pick out your braid. When the braid is loose, how to carefully finger detangle that section. Since it's a braid, the sections are not quite as tangled. So there's not a whole lot of detangling. If she had twists, there would be a lot of detangling. So that's why this didn't work for my 15-year-old daughters, because her hair matted so easily. When she was trying to pick apart her twist, she was ripping out hair left and right. You know, and even with the braids, too much tension, too much manipulation as she was picking out the braids. Okay, and so if she wants to do a wash and go, like my 15-year-old daughter has the best hair. Her hair thrives with just do wash and go, do puffs, do styles with your hair out, you know, but embracing its natural state. That's where we are in the struggle, because she likes doing styles with her hair loose, but she doesn't want to embrace the natural state. She wants to stretch it out. She wants it to be loose and stretched out. And for her, because of how fine her hair is and how I won't say it's fragile, but her hair likes to be curled up. Uh, she's experiencing breakage. And so it's been an uphill battle, delayed gratification. Okay. And also, I always introduce the thought your hair doesn't have to be long. Okay. My all time favorite style is the teeny weeny afro, which I will have again one day when I'm done with dealing with wanting even being to be bothered with long hair. Okay, so I teach my daughters long hair doesn't have to be the goal. You do want your hair to be healthy. And I try to tell my daughter, whose hair is a little delicate, if you want to manipulate it to that extent, you may have to trade length for that. And that's okay. Okay. But she doesn't want to trade length. She's always had long hair. She likes long hair. She wants long hair. She wants it stretched out and long, and she wants to manipulate it a lot. Something has to give, right? Harpo Polo's saying nope. But that's maturity. At her age, you want what you want. You don't want to give up anything. Okay, and that's the Annis vlogs that give me a thumbs up. Thank you. You don't want to give up anything, And so during the transition, that's the back and forth wrestling that I have with my girls. And they would love for me to just take over their hair again. But I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired and I've done. It's been 22 years of me managing hair. My daughter, I haven't had to manage her hair all 22 years, but even when she went on to be independent, my oldest, who's 22, I was still working on her sister's hair who weren't independent yet. So it's been 22 years of me doing hair and I'm tired. I need for them to be independent and I need for them to be able to do their own hair. And I need for them, yeah, and Roberts, I'm tired, I need for them to be able to pick up the ball and run. And I can't be afraid that they're going to have Bianca! That's my niece. Hey, BB. That's my beautiful, gorgeous niece who actually works really well independently with her beautiful hair. Nice to see you, BB. But anyway, I need them to do their own hair. And I need them to struggle. Is Bianca. I need them to struggle through it, and it has to be okay for them to make mistakes. And I need them to know their hair will grow back. We need to let go of that fear that their hair won't grow back. And actually, my 15-year-old is going through that process. She's rocking through. And, it's not always pretty, but I try to let it happen. Okay, so what I've done, now that this daughter has let me know she really does want to do more than 1 or 2 braids here and there, which is what we've been doing all along. Probably the whole time, all of last year. She's 11. She just turned 11 in October. So all of last year, maybe she would do 4 braids every time we do her hair. We've transitioned to that, Mom, I really want to do more of my hair. So the plan that I have for today is I will handle this front section. I will handle this front section where this is what people will see, okay, when she's done with the style, okay? If you turn your head for them, honey, turn your head for them. I will now give her the back section to do. Now, this daughter has a gorgeous head of hair. Like, her hair stretches all the way down to her waist and is thick from root to tip. She doesn't have any breakage issues at all. Okay, that's also the downfall of maybe her getting discouraged because it's a lot to do. So this right here that I'm planning for us today, this is ambitious, okay? But if she finds that, look at her, she's like, oh no. If she finds that she can't do it, since I am gonna be able to finish this today, she'll always be able to put her hair in a ponytail and continue tomorrow or whatever. But what my goal is for her for today, turn around. Yeah, that was a look, Anne's vlogs. What my goal is for her today is to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 relatively big braids. That's another thing I want y'all to see. I've made mistakes in the past, and thankfully I've had 3 guinea pigs before her, and so she's getting the wiser me. I threw my other daughters in the deep end. Like the kind of braided style they had when they picked up the ball to do their own hair. For every one of these, maybe divide this into 5 sections. That's how small the braids were that they were working with. And thankfully, you know, they would put in multiple movies, make a day of it. It's a girl's day. And since we don't watch a lot of TV, that was special for them. Yeah, Harper, you need wisdom. You need wisdom so that your daughters don't fall because you made it too hard for them. But this daughter right here, I'm older. I myself don't have time to do them 50,000 braids in their hair. I was doing Girl Loves Your Curls rope twist method, which worked really well with this daughter. She liked it. But for her, she wanted more stretch in her style, and she didn't like how quickly that style fuzzed up as compared to how long braids last. And so we stopped doing that. We stopped doing the rope twist. I have a video on it. It's amazing. Go check that video out. What's good about that style is that takedown is a piece of cake. Okay? You remember those parts, Ed and Roberts? Takedown is a piece of cake. So that rope twist style was good for me because it was quicker and easier for me to manage. But I can't just make choices for things that are quicker and easier. Like I want them to somewhat enjoy their hair, you know? And so she asked for braids, and so that's why we have braids. So I'm only expecting her to finish 9 braids. Okay? And so I will do this. And so in partnering together, I'm trying to give her a good head start. So her hair is clean, but she doesn't have any products in her hair. And that was kind of like an oversight on my part. Best case scenario would have been when her hair was still damp for her to apply moisturizer to her hair. So let me show you guys the products that we've been using. Now, if you look at my videos, like almost to the beginning of my channel, you guys, I have a shea butter mix recipe that I have used all of these years. I stand by that. This is my shea butter mix jar. You can see some shea butter mix that's left up here, but this is all runny. This is not the shea butter mix. What my 15-year-old did was, when she saw that she ran out of shea butter mix, she poured grapeseed oil into this jar. So that's what this is. So I kind of didn't know that we ran out of shea butter mix this month. And so I don't have any more raw shea butter to make my mix. And so I need to go to the store and take care of that. But I'm not going to have shea butter mix for this styling session that we're doing right here. And so I'm going to bootleg our styling session today. But preferably, I'd be using shea butter mix. Okay, so this is grapeseed oil. I also use a detangler. Okay, and this is just so that I'm not manipulating them with dry hair. Okay, this is Carol's Daughter, black vanilla 4-in-1 combing cream is what it's called. This stuff is a little pricey. Okay, but I noticed that my daughter, who has a less S curl type curl pattern. She has more of a 4A, 4B type inconsistent Z style curl pattern. And her hair, this is my 18-year-old. Her hair has more of a sheen to it. It's not shiny. Okay, that kind of hair type, I noticed that this detangling cream, her hair loves this. Sabrina Esther says, you should call this series Comb With Me. Oh, yes. If you guys would enjoy that, maybe I will. Okay. Yes, she's watching Austin Allen. Can you hear it a lot? Because I'm hoping, I don't want to have no copyright problems. We were trying to mic me so we can't hear. I think they could hear the song. But see this? This is the detangling cream we use. So this has a high, okay, it's not very loud. Good, good, perfect. So this detangling cream has a high water content to it. So because this has a high water content, and I don't want to undo the stretch that has happened with her hair being braided up, I'm not going to spritz her hair with water. If I was only using shea butter, I would spritz her hair with water first. But I feel like this has enough water in it so that I'm not going to be spritzing her hair with water. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this stuff throughout her hair. And I don't have, there's not much of this stuff. That's another thing with working with kids that are working with independently with their hair. They don't always tell you, Mom, I'm running low on this. Mom, I'm running low on that. The caddy is in their room. You know what I'm saying? I will, Sabrina. I will make this a series if you guys enjoy it. But they don't. They don't tell you. And then when it's time for you, and it's in their room, so you don't see it, so you don't know stuff is running low. And then when it's time for you to do their hair and you only have a little bit of allotted time and you don't have time to run to the store like today, you know what I'm saying? You just have to bootleg stuff. And so that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm hoping this is going to be enough product for me to get through her hair today. It's not a lot. Like I think I have like maybe about this much left. Okay, it's not a lot. But you don't really need, to overdo it with the product. That's why I'm able to wash their hair with the braids in, because I'm really trying not to be too heavy-handed with the product that then has to wash out. Kind of like, thank you. Keep your fingers crossed for me, Anne's vlogs. But if you use too much product, then it's hard to get their hair clean if you wash it in braids and twists. Okay, so I'm doing her section. So that's the first thing I will do. The second thing I will do, I have this, and I think my 18-year-old uses this more than anything. This is also Carol's daughter in the same line. This is Black Vanilla Moisture and Shine System. And this is a hydrating leave-in conditioner. Okay. And so this is kind of like a watery leave-in conditioner. I'm not going to use this today because I don't feel like I need it. But my other daughter uses this a lot. Okay. So this is a good line. It's pricey, but it's a good line. The other line that I use is not my Aunt Jackie's Not Today Detangling Cream. It comes in a pink bottle. They usually have them in the same section in the beauty supply store. I get mine from an Asian beauty supply, but I'm pretty sure you can find it on Sally's. And they also sell it on Amazon. But I found it cheaper on Amazon than in person. It just really depends on what you want to do. But I stand by this one. Okay. So I finish with the grapeseed oil. So usually I would just have the bottle of grapeseed oil. I don't know why she poured. Maybe she found that it was easier to manage it in the jar. So I'm going to put some in my hand. And I don't use a lot, y'all. I don't use a lot. But the oil seals in the moisture. So like maybe this much. Oh, you okay? Bye, Anne. She says, God bless you too. Thanks for joining us. So I put the oil in last. Okay. So what's going to happen is these products are going to kind of marinate in her hair so that by the time she starts working on her hair, her hair won't be all dry and staticky and stuck together and difficult to pull apart. Okay. But that doesn't mean this is the only product that she'll use. Like if she's working on her hair section by section and it's dry and things are not coming apart easily, she can always add more product. Okay. So now that's her section that she's going to be working on. I'm going to move the ponytail holder to hold that while I moisturize my section. Okay. I find that moisturizing the hair like this all at once also makes it quicker to get through her head, as opposed to waiting and doing it one section at a time. You know, just the process of picking up the bottle, closing the bottle for each braid, it just adds time. And I also noticed that giving the hair a chance to soak in the products also makes the products work more effectively. Just something I've learned over the years. And I think we're going to have enough product. Make sure you get, I think the part of the hair that needs the product the most are the ends, because they get the driest. Yeah. Can I do this when I have fake hair or braids? I do actually recommend moisturizing your hair when you have extensions and fake hair in. Because if your hair is really dry when it's time for you to take those things out, that can cause breakage. And so I actually used to use a braid spray. Like, I wouldn't put shea butter or something thick like that on extensions. They actually sell braid sprays, sprays that are made for braids, or you can make your own braid spray. Like, I would imagine this leave-in conditioner that you could spray in could work well as a braid spray. Or you could create a spray out of essential oils. If you Google, essential oil moisturizing or conditioning sprays, you can find tons of recipes if you Google that. Okay. And you can also add grapeseed oil or whatever kind of oil you like to put in your hair, jojoba oil, sweet almond oil. You can add that to water. You can add a little bit of leave-in conditioner to that and use that as a spritz for your hair. So I would use a spritz if I had braid extensions. All right. And then I'm going to top this off with the oil. I don't know. I personally don't like using the oil in this jar like this. See, I just dropped some on my leggings. Like, feel like it's messy and it gets everywhere. So, so I top it off with the oil. All right. So this is the section I'm about to do. All right. So do you want to work on your hair at the same time that I'm working on my hair, or do you want to wait until I'm done? So I'm going to move the caddy. Do you want to wait until I'm done to work on your hair? I think you might want to work on it at the same time. You cough. You got to finish eating, though. Finish eating so that there's no crumbs on your hair.
I choked on my drink.
You're welcome, Sabrina. Yeah, you don't want crumbs. You don't want potato chip crumbs in the hair. Do you want to do it at the same time?
Huh?
Do you want to do it at the same time?
My hair?
So how do you feel about doing the braids in the back? I think it's a good idea, because if they don't look perfect, it's in the back. And the braids in the back are also bigger. That's another tip that I do. The braids in the back are bigger than the braids in the front. So when the whole style is done, she has the illusion that her braids are smaller than they actually are. So it actually takes longer to do the braids on the top. But if I was doing her whole head, I would start in the back. It's a psychological mind trick that I do for myself. I start in the back because I can get through the back quicker, and I feel like it's not taking as long. So I have all these tricks that I do. So, but I'm going to start in the front. So do you want to work? If I'm working on this side, you should work on this side so I don't get in your way. All right. So for her picking out her braids, I don't let her use her fingers to do it. I let her use the back of this plastic rat tail comb. The best thing is the back of the metal rat tail comb. Okay. But my 15-year-old used it last, and she came back and showed me this. And I had to laugh because she thought I was going to be upset, but I was like, this is what our hair does. Our hair breaks things like this. You lucky it didn't break the brush. It's all good. Welcome. You've been baptized into the natural hair family. You know what I'm saying? So she actually broke the rat tail comb. Right, Sabrina?
She was holding it in the right.
It's going to break. We're going to break. I've broken many combs, okay? And so, I mean, I'm still gonna keep this because this is still useful. So you could, if you want, you could use this to pick it out. Because this doesn't, this is kind of blunted, so it's not really super sharp. This works well, so she doesn't get frustrated. And I teach her to start at the very absolute ends to pick her stuff out, so she doesn't rip her hair. Right, Sabrina, you broken your fair share of combs. It's like welcome. Okay, so I'll start here for her. So when I do her braids, like the last maybe an inch and a half of the braids, I twist. So even though it's braided from here to like about here, and then this part is a twist. I noticed that that's a little gentler, on her ends, so that she has a little bit more retention. Because what usually happens to a lot of us is our hair is still growing. Our hair is still growing at the roots, but a lot of us are losing hair at the ends because when we're taking down a style, we're ripping the ends and jacking the ends up, And so I think that the twists work well. They don't really mat up like they would if the whole thing was a twist, because the whole thing is a braid. So the braid catches the shed hair well. So the twists come out easily, especially with the detangling product that I have on it. The twists come out really easily. But if I was doing the Girls Love Your Curls rope twist method, that I have a video, you guys could check that video out on my channel. If I was doing that, I'd already be done taking this braid out. So this is a big sacrifice for me that I have her hair, in box braids instead of those rope twists. But the style does stay fresher longer for her in the braids.
And it feels like my hair feels longer for some reason. I don't know what's with the twist, but it feels like it like shrinks up.
It shrinks up. The twist for her, it's all about your texture, okay? For her texture of hair, those twists shrink up a lot more than the braids. And, my girls like their hair stretched out. If I could get them to embrace the shrinkage, that would be like half the battle. So you guys, usually when I do these hair videos, I speed up the takedown. But you guys are experiencing in real time, how long it takes me to take a braid out. So my solution for that is to do bigger braids. Huh?
Can I use?
You want the pink one?
No, I said can I use the whole?
Oh, yeah, keep it on the table so you don't have to keep bending down.
Excel.
Yeah, just do it. Sabrina, let me tell you how I learned to embrace my shrinkage, okay? We was in the ring fighting. What had happened was we were in the ring, me and my shrinkage. We were in the ring fighting, okay? I had done my hair and it looked beautiful. It was a nice twist out that looked beautiful when I left the house, okay? When I got to where I was going, I thought I was so cute because all I could remember was how it looked in the mirror when I had left the house. But see, what had happened was the boxing ring was full of humidity. And so my twist out was gone. Okay, I was walking around the whole day, not cute, looking kind of interesting with the twist out, standing up and shrinking up. You know what I'm saying? I was down for the count when I went to the restroom and looked in the mirror. I was down for the count and the referee was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10. And this time I stayed down because I knew shrinkage was the victor. Oh, bye, Ann Roberts. Have a good day at work. Thanks for joining us. Okay. So I made peace because I couldn't win. Okay, I made peace. And actually, when I chose styles, I'm finger detangling now, guys. When I chose styles that work with the shrinkage, I noticed that, like if I was wearing a puff and I went out in humidity, and you said you live in Florida, yeah, that's a humid place. If I chose styles that worked with the shrinkage, when I looked in the mirror that second time, I looked good. Okay. So for me, I learned that length wasn't always the goal and that I could make beautiful styles that worked with my hair shrinking, like a big puff, like a fro shaped twist out or braid out that would to me look even better when the humidity got to it and it got bigger and softer. Okay, Lady D say you're from Morrisville. Welcome. So I want to call your girl's attention to her roots. You probably can't see it because the camera isn't that close, but there's always a little bit of lint right here. And that used to kind of gross me out a little bit. You understand, Sabrina? Good, good. Um, so that used to gross me out a little bit, but remember, this is clean lint, okay? And it brushes right out. And in her case, just with the finger detangling, look, her hair is not tangled at all, you guys. That's one benefit of the braids. She's very tender-headed. Any kind of manipulation hurts, but her hair really is not tangled, okay? So now that I have this section loose, and since this section is close to her face, I am going to apply, and this is the shed hair. Remember, her hair has been in this style for a month, and we shed about 100 hairs a day all over our head. So this is not breakage. This is normal shedding. So don't freak out about this, okay? Don't freak out about a little bit of ball of hair, because as you can tell, her hair is really, really healthy. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit more of this. I'm not going to add more oil or anything like that. If I had the shea butter, I'd be adding the shea butter instead. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of this. I'm going to make sure that I catch her edges so that when I do the braid, the strays will all go into the braid. Notice I didn't use a comb, y'all. I don't really use a comb. Like I noticed that I have a whole lot less breakage. Like what I use the comb for, see this is a section that has a little bit of matting. So I'm just gonna tease it apart strand by strand right where the matting is with my fingers, okay? What's causing the matting is the shed hair. Now I slide my fingers down and the shed hair comes out and it's not tangled anymore, okay? Done. Okay. And so I noticed that when I stopped detangling with a comb, their hair, I don't have quite as much breakage. So I really work with the comb more so for parting, and if I end up having a section that I really can't work out with my hair, with my hands, or if I'm trying to do cornrows instead of box braids, then I'll use a tool like this. After I thoroughly detangle, I'll then brush with this is a tangle teaser from 50,000 years ago from back in the day. You've been loving the process, Sabrina? Good, thank you. It says, growing up, my mom never did my hair. My hair was never taken care of. All I knew was salons. It wasn't until 2007 I shaved my head and decided to finally start taking care of my hair myself. Wow, welcome. Welcome, Sabrina. Yeah, I mean, everybody's not a hair person. I have cousins who have told me, you said you ran into my page when you did your 100-day fast. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad to have you, Sabrina. But I've noticed that everybody's not a hair person. So I'm not against using a salon, but I just hope that whatever salon you choose, that they will take care of your child's hair the way you would want to take care of it yourself, and that can work for some people. Now there are much more people that are willing to work with natural hair, but for us, heat is not a thing. Heat has never really been a good thing, and so we avoid that. But if you're able to manage your child's hair without having it break off, and that's what you do, that's what you do. Yes.
Do I add anything to it?
How does it feel? Does it feel dry to you?
I don't
Feels super soft. Look at this child's hair. Like, stand up for a minute. Stand up for a minute. Okay, this is one section. Stand up, stand up. Look at this. Stand up. This is her belly button. Right here. Don't lift up your shirt. They don't need to see your belly button. This is the waistband of her jeans, y'all. This is this child. She's not a short child. She's tall for her age. This is one section of hair. Could you imagine me trying to do like her whole head? I don't think so. That's not going to happen. If you want to know why I don't wash her hair loose, I would die. This child has like enough hair for 2 people on her head. Like, I always have people asking, why don't you just leave her hair loose? It would be so pretty. It's gorgeous. Okay, but I just can't. I have locks, y'all. That's how much I want to deal with loose natural hair all the time. Plus, I've been doing this for 22 years. I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so she has a lot of hair. And my secret to that is I leave her hair alone as much as possible. You know, I do her hair like once a month, redo it over. That's it. And it works well. So she treats these box braids like loose hair, and she styles it however she likes. So I'm going to put this.
Should I just braid it then?
It feels great. It seems a little dry. It could be a little moisture. So I would add some stuff to it. Okay, show them how much. Now rub your hair, because that was a lot of hair in that section. Rub it together and then go from root to tip, putting more on the ends than on the top, because the ends are the driest part. All right. So I'm gonna braid this section right here. You can do your braids 2 ways, you guys. You could do your braids going over like this, or you could do your braids going under like this. Okay? It depends on what you want the hair to do. If you do the braid going over, it will lay in whatever direction you want. You position it going over in. So if I did it going over, the braid would fall straight down. Okay, but when she goes to put her hair up in a ponytail, there would be this little resistance, and it would be this little bump that would happen because the hair wants to lay down. Okay, so I braid all of her braids going under, not over, because when you do it going under, the hair has mobility. You could position the braid in whatever direction you want, and it can be styled however you want. So since these are individual box braids, that's why I do that. Okay, and I also choose box braids because I need a decent detangling to do box braids, but I don't need a perfect detangling like I would need if I was doing cornrows. Okay, so, or some people call them Dutch braids. Okay, so I love cornrows more than my girls. So for box braids, I think is the least amount of detangling, and the longevity of the style is really good. So here's the braid. I braid pretty quickly. And I really don't worry about getting every single baby strand, every little 1/4 inch strand that's along her hairline, you know, tight into the braid, all shiny, you know. If your child has a headache after you did her hair, that's too much. It's not good for her. It's not good. Or if you get those, yeah, but you have a tender head though. You can get a headache just from me manipulating your hair.
So Mom,
yeah. So, but what I do if I wanted to have that smooth look, and my daughter didn't put the brush back, I usually also have a super soft bristle brush, hair brush. It's almost as soft as a complexion brush. You could even use a complexion brush, okay? If it has those natural bristles, not the plastic bristles, but the natural bristles. And I'll use that and kind of smooth her edges with that if I want her edges to be smooth. But I leave her edges alone as much as possible so that my girls really don't have breakage, you know, along their hairline. Because that kind of breakage is kind of hard to remedy, and it makes your styles not look quite as good. All right, so What question do you have?
So how do I?
You just braid it. You braid it under. You said you braid under anyway.
I do.
And what you'll know,
I'm trying to ask how the even. How
just
even
do 3 even sections. It's okay.
What is it?
Doesn't have to be perfect. Even if it's not perfectly even, as long as you have 3 sections that's relatively even, you're good. So this is as much of the hair that I braid up to. See how much is left? That's how much is left. Okay? The rest of this, I'm going to twist. So I combine 2 of the 3 strands, and then I finish it off with a twist. This helps a little bit with takedown. And as I said before, I think it's a little bit more protective for the ends. Because otherwise, you would really be picking and picking and picking at the very oldest part of the hair, and you could cause a little bit of breakage. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Am I doing it right?
Yeah, let me see.
It's the roots now.
Yeah, looks good. So I'm done. I'm moving on to the next braid.
Okay, fine. We'll go for a little bit. I do remember helping you set up these lights. Ah, great. Hey, I want to make sure the spotlight hits you perfectly. I'm not sure if you should stay
All right.
or here.
Let's go.
Yeah, I
What's
think
this?
stand way over there.
Trying to get a move on. Yeah.
Really baggy right there.
Let me see. She's saying it's really baggy. This is my trick. See how she did? Her braid is coming along good, but it was a little
How do
loose
I
right here.
get
Wait, what does Sabrina say? It was nice talking to you ladies. Glad you are safe and healthy. Have a good day. Thanks, Sabrina. Have a good day. But this is my tip for how to I get them to do the braid tight from root to tip and not have that big, loose, baggy section at the root. When you're braiding, you have to keep your fingers right where you're braiding. So if you're at the root, keep your fingers right at the root and make the braid right at the root, because the temptation is to slide. Thanks, Sabrina. The temptation is to slide your hair lower and do the braid, but keep your hair right where your hand right where you're braiding, so that the braid will be tight right there. But you don't want it to be too tight, because it's good not to braid too tight. But that is
good?
let me see. Perfect. Okay. So that section is at the back of her head anyway, so it really doesn't matter. It's it's kind of at the back. So if you have all the other braids down, you can't. If you have to make a mistake, that's a good spot to make a mistake.
I don't want to make it.
Yeah, you don't want to make. You know what? You don't want to make a mistake, but making mistakes is part of it. No, it's keep going all the way to the ends. And keep keeping your hand right where you're braiding all the way to the end. If you want it tighter, braid it a little bit tighter. And don't get frustrated and don't get disappointed, because part of doing a good braid is being patient. Okay? And it's practicing. You might not get it 100% perfect, excellent, awesome this first time. But guess what? If you're going to drop it on the floor, drop it in the same spot every time. Cleanup is not fun with all these balls of hair. Okay? So you have to tell yourself, this first time that I'm doing my hair, this is how I tell my girls. This first time I'm doing my hair, it might not come out perfectly. Okay? I've been doing you girls' hair for 22 years. And I started doing my own hair independently when I was 9. And I'm 48 years old. That's a lot of practice. So you can't beat yourself up if what you do doesn't come out exactly like what I do the first time. It just takes practice. Okay? Now, if you look at my oldest daughter Becca, and her sister who's 18, Rachel, and even Anika, they do pretty well, but they've been practicing. So you're gonna do better. Okay, she's really tender-headed. So while I'm talking to y'all, I gotta pay attention that I'm not pulling too hard.
I'm very.
She's super tender-headed. I have a video. I have a video on here of her as like well, how old were you? Like 18-month-old? And I'm just running after her because she doesn't want to get her hair done.
It hurt.
She's crying because she doesn't want me to do her hair. Yeah, she's very tender-headed. More tender-headed than any of my other daughters.
Is this when you twist it?
Yep, when you get right there, you start twisting. Do 2 sections and you twist. And when you twist with what you have all the way to the end. If you run out of hair, don't try to get more hair from the other side. That's called splicing, because that's just like doing a braid. And if you forget you did that, when it comes time to pick them out, you will rip your hair out. So if you don't separate the 2 sections of hair evenly enough to twist, it's almost better to go back and separate it properly again than for you to splice. So don't splice. Okay? Yay, we're gonna see how your braid came out. No, it's gonna be good. And you're gonna be proud of yourself. You're not gonna be upset. This braid looks terrible. Let me see. Let's look at her braid. Turn around. That's good. That's good. That's not baggy. Actually, you don't wanna do it too tight. You're gonna break it's not healthy for your hair, for your root to be. But I'm doing this I'm doing this in the front. So you want it to look like this in the front. That's what everyone's gonna see when all the braids lie down. Nobody's gonna see that this is and it's good for it to be a little loose, because you like to lift your hair up and put it a lot in a high ponytail or a high bun. You don't want this to be too tight and be tugging. So her braid, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Turn your head. Her braid is pretty even. So that's a good braid. So do the next one.
What's the next one? This one?
You pick the next one. You have to be able to tell the difference between one you did and one you didn't.
This one.
Supposedly you need to do your hair over because the ones you didn't do should be fuzzy, right? And the new one you did should be nice and smooth. So I'm gonna add some more. How long has it been, you guys? How long have we been on this live? It's been an hour. So you guys, if you don't have any more questions for me, I'm gonna go so that I can actually finish her hair. Doing a live kind of takes up my time, but I'll stay a little longer if you guys have any more questions that you want to ask me about what I'm doing. Usually for me to do her whole head, it'll take like one whole feature long movie. So if we put in Aladdin, Disney's Aladdin, the one that Will Smith just did, by the time that movie is done, I should be done with her hair or almost done with her hair. Okay? So it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's how long it takes me to do her hair. And my expectation for her 9 braids might probably take her longer than that, but it's okay. If you know it's going to take you longer, like this is all a mental game. You know what I'm saying? If you know that it's going to take you longer, then you don't have to get frustrated. Harper Polo says, thanks for all the tips. I didn't know the difference between under and over and splicing at the ends. Yes, I do have videos where I talk about that on my channel. I have a whole hair playlist. But just some stuff I've learned over the years. Length retention, that used to be super important to me back in the day. Long hair is beautiful, but as I was saying, you know, I'm not as concerned about it. And when your girls become independent, they'll want long hair, but they won't necessarily want to do what it takes to have long hair. It's a lot. And for me, I have discovered that having locks is probably the easiest way for me to manage long hair, because it removes the detangling element. The detangling element is the element that I dislike the most. And I love my locks because my hair can be long and I don't have to detangle. I also love my locks because I don't have to fight with shrinkage anymore. or give in or admit that shrinkage is in control. I love that. So it doesn't matter what the weather is. I can even walk in the rain and my locks pretty much look the same. I can style them, or if I don't want to style them, I don't have to. They look good just being. And so for me, for long hair, I love having locks. If I wanted to enjoy my hair loose, I would keep it shorter. I would say for me, no more than 6 inches. 6 inches to me is easy to detangle and manage. If I didn't want a teeny weeny afro, I would keep my hair at 6 inches with 6 inches of hair, 6 to 10 inches. I could do a decent puff if I wanted to do my hair up, and I could do really nice afros. I'm good. I don't need it to be any longer than that. But what that would mean for me is I would spend a lot of time cutting my hair because my hair grows fast. And that's one thing I noticed. That was the only negative aspect to me of my teeny weeny afro. You know, to maintain it in the shape that I wanted, I would have to go to the barber every 2 weeks because I just couldn't master cutting it into the shape that I wanted on my own at home. If I ever learn how to do that, I'll be good. I didn't like fighting my hair that much. And it was clear to me that at least for now, my hair wants to be long because it grows so fast. I don't know if I have it in a high ponytail right now, so I could show you how long my locks are. This is how long my locks are. These are my second set of locks. I have a whole playlist on my locks. If you want to go and check out how long I've had them, when I started them. I even have a video on how I started this set with inner locks, how I maintain them, what products I use. That's all on my channel, you guys. So check out my playlist if you're interested in that. So I wanted to come on here and do this live just to show you that I am still doing hair, even though I don't do as many hair videos anymore because I'm only down to this one kid right here and I don't do much. You know, once a month I'm over here doing this. But if you guys enjoy this, once a month we could get on here and do this live of me working on her hair. And pretty soon after... Yeah, well, pretty soon she's going to be doing her hair on her own. So there won't be anything for me to do unless you want to watch a live of her doing her own hair, which I don't know if she'll be interested in doing. So are you working on another video to put on my channel?
Oh, I was going to do this video, but I can't do it because it has music and that would be copyright.
Well, you can do free music. There's free music.
That has words though, because it matched up with what I was trying to do.
Oh, it's music that you know is copyright.
Yes.
But maybe you can prepare a video to put on my channel. They really liked your video. Maybe.
I have to think of one.
Guys, give her a thumbs up if you want her to do a video, another video for this channel. I'm trying to encourage her. She does a lot of videos, but I respect that she wants to. I let her share the ones that she wants to share. I won't insist that she shares everything she does. Look, Harper Polo's giving you a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
She wants you to do a video.
I didn't know the difference between under and over and spicy.
Yep, I saw that comment. See, she's doing that from me. Her hair's not even tangled. She's just really tender-headed. All right, guys. It was really good hanging out with y'all. And I'll be sure to be back for another live. You guys seem to really enjoy the lives, and I enjoy doing them. And I'm actually very surprised by how many people actually come back and watch the recording of the live that YouTube puts up. I'm really blessed by that. Kind of surprised by that. So let me get back to this child's hair. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Bye.
Be blessed.
It's not like you're streaming your show for all of your international fans and embarrassing yourself in front of the whole world.